Bricklink's Series 8 designer program started voting on May 5th, and it goes until May 16th for fan voting. With 384 designs submitted, there's so much to look at, especially if you are a castle lover like myself. If you're here because you don't know how to vote in the Bricklink's designer program, I'll go over that at the end of this video. Sorry if I sound a little bit sick, I just wanted to get this video out before the voting ended. Feel free to roast me in the comments. If you like LEGO Castle or medieval content, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for helping the channel. I'm not sure if most people do this, but I go through every single individual submission that there is every single Bricklink series. If you aren't one of those crazy people like myself, I would recommend using the filters, specifically the medieval/castle, space/sci-fi/fantasy, and lastly, the pirates. I recommend using all three of these because so many submissions that are medieval builds can fall into that fantasy section or even sometimes the pirate section. Today I want to dive into some of the builds and my take on the Bricklink series. Now if we go ahead and look in this medieval and castle category, I think the Viking builds in here look very nice. I saw a couple Viking shipyards in here. There was one bigger one that was modular by Nicholas Carlier, and I think that the Viking fans would love this one. I think this have a really good chance because Vikings rarely get as many sets compared to the mainstream knights. One little Easter egg I love from this set is probably the runestone. It brings a nice touch of that Norse mythology into this set. But to be honest, one of the main reasons I'm hoping that we get a Viking set is because if we get a Viking set, we're pretty likely to get a castle set as well this series. Every Bricklink series, we've always gotten at least one medieval set, sometimes even two medieval sets. It's highly unlikely we would get more than one castle set, but something like a Viking set to go along with the castle set seems a lot more reasonable. Let's say you're one of those that's more into the Dungeons and Dragons type of theme. There are definitely a couple sets this series that would definitely fit that. I really like the Sleepy Dragon Inn by Marin BD. This one caters to all the fantasy and castle fans. The figures are a little more customized rather than being standard knights for the most part, and could act as a great gathering place for your minifigures. I love the details on this set. I really like the Bard poster on the outside as well as the two inside the pub playing cards. My only worry for a lot of these pieces is it says it has 6 stickers, so I wonder if those are stickers or going to be actual printed pieces. Either way, if this set made it through, I'd be happy. It gives me very much medieval blacksmith vibes. Another option that I thought was really cool was this mounted castle by InnoWiki 10. Right off the rip, I think the use of the green castle walls are really cool. That mixed in with that it's mounted on the side of like a mountain or something like that with a waterfall going through it and trees out to the side is a really nice touch. The inspiration that the creator wanted for this castle was something he could mount on his wall in his house. That could save a lot of shelf space, especially if you wanted a couple of these. It looks like they might be able to connect on the side or something like that. Personally, if I was to get this set, I might take out the Lion Knights and put in Black Falcons or something a little more fitting. I just have too many Lion Knights. Heading into some of the bigger builds here, let's take a look at the Duskmark Keep by Brick Hucker. Standing at 4,000 pieces and being in a desert, I think is a really cool scene for this castle. With the option to fold out like a lot of the other castles we've seen in the past, with a ballista on top and that new faction using those tax collector bodies is so cool. Looking around this castle, it is no doubt that they have a lot of attention to detail. I really like how even from the back, the inside still looks pretty detailed too. If this ends up being one of the ones that comes out, I would really like to get my hands on it, but being 4,000 pieces, it's going to be a hefty price tag on it. The only other downside I would say it has going for it is 9 stickers. No one likes stickers. On a positive note, I love the bell mechanism, and I always love a ballista. Moving on to another fantasy type of set, the Orc Settlement by Kunu 1990. I really like the creativeness and the color scheme of this set. It looks like it might take place in the desert and has that nice orc red. If you're a big fan of the Series 24 Orc, this would match them perfectly. I like again how this is not your traditional castle. It has that little keep, I like the chimney there, and I love that there's spears and even animal horns built into the walls. It's nice that they were creative enough to not have to use stickers, and the little tent with a throne in it is a nice touch. Since it's really hard to get your hands on orc minifigures, a small build like this I think would suit them very nicely. I want to dive into probably my favorite section out of all of these, are the smaller builds. Starting off with the Lion Knights Galley by Sam2 XD. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the Lion Knights, I think this ship is very charming. Having a fully brick-built medieval ship would be such a nice touch. I'm very interested to see the sturdiness of this because of the curve that it used to make it look like a galleon. And again, at the same time, although I'm not a big fan of the Lion Knights, it's just a beautiful build. I can always change the shields and the colored schemes later, but this is a really nice build. At a piece count of only 592, it would be nice for all of our wallets. Heading into my probably number one pick out of this whole series is going to be the Wolf Pirate's Revenge by 7 Deadly. I used to love the pirate theme as a kid, and I think this set does a great job merging the two. With the Wolfpack already being known as bandits, this set makes complete sense. The small ballista at the front and the crossbows at the back and the middle for defenses on the ship is really nice. They brought back that Viking-style longboat that they used back in the 2005 Viking sets and turned it into some sort of tree-like ship. This is very unique, and I can only imagine what I'm going to do with this. I'll probably take it and turn it into like a forestman longboat or something like that. This set really sparks my creativity, and if I got my hands on this set, I can only imagine the lore I would come up with for my own kingdom. One downside, it does have 3 stickers. I hate stickers just like everybody else, but 3 isn't too bad. At 905 total parts, this set will probably be under $100, and that'll be really nice for my wallet. This is only a fraction of all the sets that are out there for this series. There are so many talented creators that submitted for this series. I wasn't able to get through all of them today, but I implore everyone to go out there and vote for your favorites. My recommendation would always be to go through every single thing, choose what you like, don't like, and what you love. That way LEGO can get the best options at what we want. If you're one of those that wants to get in on this voting for the Bricklink Series 8 designer program, the first thing you have to do is create a Bricklink account. From there, go to Bricklink Designer Program Series 8. Once there, scroll down. You can see if the voting's still open. You'll see it ends on May 16th. And if you keep going down, you'll see the 384 submissions. To better organize it, you can click Filters and select the themes. If you're looking for castles, I recommend doing the castle or medieval theme, and also do the fantasy theme and the pirates. Thank you all so much for sticking around to the end today. If you have a set you really like or think that I overlooked, comment below. I'll be sure to check it out.